Good morning, Eat Your Backyard. This is my YouTube channel where I talk about all kinds of things that interest me, like edible landscaping, trees, plants, tropical, cool looking things. And I try to help you transition your yard into a fruit jungle that is year-round fruit. If you're not subscribed, I urge you, please subscribe and join. Turn on the notification bell. Use the links in the description. Okay, so today the topic is wind resilient plants, and I'm going to cover the way I look at it, which is to focus on a couple areas, a couple traits of plants that'll help you get through the wind. But I thought I would share with you, because I get a lot of positive feedback on this, which is I would share what's going on in the ocean today. Now, there is no hurricane, there is no special event here other than it's just fall in Florida, and we get a lot of windy onshore days here. And as you look at these sable palms here, you can see that it just never stops. It's a never-ending, relentless flow of that's better. Relentless flow of wind. And if you look at this, the trees, you see the effect. These sable palms are an example of a tree that is so resilient to wind that it can grow right up on the dune itself and still have a lot of success. And it's got both of the qualities I would focus on in plants. If you have a situation where you're in a more wind exposed area, perhaps in your yard is, what are the right kinds of things to choose? Okay, so the two things that the sable palms got going on that not all plants have going on for them are it grows fast enough to regrow from the damaged fronds, and it also has it's a very tough tree. In other words, the leaves can take it. Try to get out here. Hopefully the wind isn't messing up the audio too bad. The sun is just starting to rise, so I'm trying to get a good angle here. But yeah, so it is fast enough to grow through the trauma it gets from the wind, but then also tough enough to just generally structurally take it. So the leaves themselves, they take it pretty well. Even hailstorms typically don't affect this too much. A real thick, tough leaf. And they eventually die and just are replaced with another one. But that trunk itself of the sable palm is so incredibly strong. And the amount of wind, all of the top fronds and everything will rip out typically before they tip over if they've been grown from a seed. The ones that are the ones you see tipped over are really typically the ones that are planted from a pot, landscaping, and they haven't fully rooted in. But once they take root, if you've ever seen a sable palm pulled out, you know that it has about 10,000 roots going in all directions, so it just digs into whatever it's got going on below it. So basically anything you find in this windy environment is going to meet the test of being fast enough and being tough enough. All these coastal dune grasses are certainly in that category. This one right here is the sea oat. You can see the wild sea oat grass. The sea oats are actually edible, but they are protected dune grass. So you can't eat these, but you are allowed to grow your own. So you could grow, and grass being very easy to grow, that might be an interesting pick. Anything you're going to see in here also is going to be a champ, even if it's not native, like that carrotwood tree. If you can see here, there's a carrotwood tree growing right here. That's non-native, but again, meets both the tests. The foliage is tough enough, and the structure is tough enough to take most of the wind, and it regrows fast enough. But the wood of the carrotwood actually is fairly brittle. Once it gets large, it will snap somewhat easily. Now, you look at this example of trees just getting buffeted by relentless winds. Another thing we can notice is that it consists of a big skirt here. and in nature, that's the way it's always going to be. And there's vines growing up, and all the dead fronds have formed a perfect nesting and home for animals here in the dunes. In your yard, you're probably going to want to keep that trunk a little more free and also let the wind pass through it better. And that's the other thing. You can trim your trees so that, especially coastally here, we're always keeping our eye on trimming our trees so that the wind can pass through them to the maximum extent possible. You know, especially large trees like oak trees, maintenance of those, because you get them to a certain size and the physics just takes over where they want to tip. There are lots of other good examples of trees that do well, and there's even some types of fruit trees which handle wind quite well. But nothing's going to handle the wind as well as really palm trees you find in this area. And the types of palm trees you're going to find at the beach thriving are going to be sable palms, coconut palms, and occasionally a Washingtonia palm. Those are three staple, I believe, palm choices that are all resilient to wind. All meet the two criteria I listed. If I was going to pick a fruit tree that was resilient to wind, I think I'd have to go with something like a banana and a papaya, believe it or not. And they only meet... Oh, hey, Rob C. Good to have you on from beautiful Plant City, Florida. Man, oh man. That place is like a growing paradise. Strawberries, ferns, and not that far from the beloved Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Yeah, so papaya and banana are two that I would say are a good choice. And you might think, well, they're really soft-leaved. They just get shredded. And I would say that's true, they do. But if all you're dealing with is an occasional wind beating like we have here in Florida, those two will actually grow back fast enough that it makes up for them not being strong enough to handle it. So their leaves are going to be shredded by the wind. They actually take a different approach than standing up to the wind. They just bend to the wind and become shredded by it and grow right back. So those would be my picks for fruit trees to deal with windy conditions. And just know they're going to look a little ratty, but it's going to look a little ratty in a windy situation anyway. Embrace it. I once saw some photos of Aruba and the trees growing in the direction of the wind, and it was so obvious in that setup the effect the wind was having on these trees. Sorry. Yeah. Oh no, Rob C. Your bananas got shredded yesterday. Yeah, that's the thing. They do get shredded. And another thing you can do with, I think, with bananas to help them resist the wind is just have a ton of them. You know, just create a big old grove. As big a grove as you can take. I've got 2 banana groves in my backyard, what I call banana groves, little area corners of my yard where they grow. And I have so many back there now that yeah, the leading edge bananas get shredded, and the pups and everything kind of get protected by the overarching clump. Hey Rob C, what kind of bananas do you have growing over there in Plant City? I'm definitely going to increase my collection here. I was wondering what kind of varieties people are having great success with in Florida. Small lot in an RV park, so groves won't work for me. Yeah, if you have a community situation like that, and chances are not everybody's going to be into starting one. Growing things in pots is interesting. My grandfather lived in an RV situation. I used to come down and stay with him in Florida, my grandmother and grandfather, and on his small little area where he had an Airstream trailer on this small little trailer lot within the RV community, he had four citrus trees. You're not sure what kind of banana? Yeah, you don't need to know, right? It's the kind of banana that that you've got, which is probably the best kind. I grow dwarf Cavendish and Musa typically, but I am going to expand my count. Oh, you're brand new growers. Perfect. I'm stoked you found Eat Your Backyard, or you're on Eat Your Backyard, hoping to help there. Yeah, one of the things we do on this channel is just kind of show people what we've got growing and introduce to new plants and all that kind of stuff. And also, I get a lot of ideas from the viewers about things that they're curious about, which are typically things I'm very curious about too, and then I go learn about those and try to share it. So, great. I'm glad it's been helpful. And just a general announcement, I guess, to Eat Your Backyard, and that is that I am working on now a series of videos regarding palms, because I get so many questions and so much interest in palms. I'm doing a series on just informational videos about common palm trees in Florida and their uses in your yard and their caring characteristics, let's say how much it takes to care for them, etc. A whole series there, and that should be done within the next couple of weeks. I use the drone to fly over the palms, so we have these dreamy, droney palm moments. And if you've seen my other palm drone videos, you know they are goofy, but they are kind of like almost meditative in a way, because you're just soaring around these beautiful palms and thinking about the cool aspects of them. So that's coming out soon. Florida, I haven't figured out what to call it yet. Maybe you could help me with the name. Leave it in the comments if you can think of one for a series, an educational series about palm trees. Okay. Well, the sunrise. I don't know. Do you count the sunrise once it's above the horizon on a day like today, or once it gets above the clouds? Obviously, it's above the horizon, but it's a pretty beautiful situation. Yeah, it's cool. Thanks. Really beautiful. And one thing I noticed this morning, which is kind of cool, I love the fact that when you get your yard rocking, yeah, I'm in Brevard County, Florida. When you get your yard rocking, it becomes a place where you just see increasing wildlife. That's not what everybody wants, right? Because with the fruit, and you get the rats and then the snakes or whatever, I've heard all that, but I like it, and I don't see a lot of rats or bad snakes or anything in my yard, so I've had zero problem with that kind of pest stuff. I mean, really. But today I'm noticing birds everywhere, and usually when it's this windy, I don't notice that many birds, but there are so many pelicans and seagulls flying around out in this wind. They have no problem with it. Oh, it used to be down in by Sebastian Inlet. Yeah, that's beautiful down there. Another paradise. Yeah, big cat. Good to see you on. Yeah. It's an ominous morning, and like in a serious wind situation here that just is very typical. Yeah, living near the ocean is a serious blessing. Without any doubt about it. Very grateful. And then the next step is remember to go down and get in it. That's my thing, is just get in it. Be careful to get in it today, because it's definitely kind of dangerous for swimming. But the cool thing is, today it's really not that big a deal to go. There's this whole area on the inside on days like this, low tide the way it is, where it's very shallow. So actually low tide on even a windy, super big surf day like this, it's a good swimming opportunity. We see all the Canadians out there swimming. Some of the friendliest people on earth in my experience. But in Florida, the typical scenario is, everybody locally here becomes acclimated and they get so cold so fast. That's right, Rob G. We don't want to take advantage. Not take advantage. Forget how grateful we should be for what we got here. Hey, man. Good morning. Yeah, so the scenario is, and I've seen this many times, which is typically around December time frame when the ocean's cooled down a bit, where it's starting to really get into the 60s. It's cold enough, and when the air is cold and the ocean's that cold, it feels pretty cold. I got people walking by, I don't want to get them in video. And you'll see 4 people frolicking around in the surf with 0% suntan, having a great time, and everybody's kind of looking like, who are these crazy people? But maybe, I always claim, who are the crazy people? Are they the ones that are in the water or the ones that are not in the water? Hey, good morning. Take a walk. I don't want to walk this way. Let's go this way. It might get kind of windy. I think I'm almost out of the wind here. You can see how everything's just been shaved down by that wind. Let's see if this will. Well, okay. There you go. We thought about windy plants. And for sure, anything here is wind resilient. But there's plenty of other choices. But we got to consider wind as we form up our fruit jungle, because it is a factor. And if you're near the coast, salt spray in that wind is also a factor. And we consider all these things as we build our fruit forest. So be the Bob Ross of your backyard. Why not? Might be the only shot you get. Have a great day. Don't forget to subscribe. I wish you increasing prosperity and joy. Thanks for watching. Eat your backyard. Well, I saw a big cat and I'm not going to jump off before that. Am I going to make another What You Got Growing On? Yep. Oh, you're going to make me a vid for What You Got Growing On. Oh, big cat. I'm stoked about that. Yeah, thanks for reminding me of that too, by the way. Which is, I've got a new viewer challenge, let's say, fun activity. Send me a 30-second video on 3 things in your yard, on at least 3 things in your yard that you are growing. Yeah, make one like I asked. All right, look back at that video. I kind of give the details on what to do. I'll make another video reminding But yeah, it looks like we got at least 2 or 3 people that are going to participate. Send me a short video that I can include in kind of a montage of cool edible plants and things that you've got growing around in your yard. Can't wait to do that. That's going to be so fun. I love to do stuff like that, and I plan on doing more of it. So I'm stoked that we got some of our favorite people involved. Okay, have a great day.